The movie begins when a man named Santo is attending a hockey ice match with his wife, Emma, to support his daughter's team. Santo's daughter Sofia is an accomplished ice hockey player, and she has been playing the game since she was a little girl and has been with the official team for several years. In addition to sports, Sofia is also a girl who is very fond of activities that require high adrenaline, such as off-road car sports with her father. That day, Santo was in the spectator seats and was very excited to support his daughter's victory like any other father. After competing for a long time and completing several rounds, Sofia and her team finally won the match with a high score. Seeing Sofia score in the last round and she achieved victory, Santo was very happy and proud of his only daughter. After the game ended, Sofia immediately went outside the field to meet her parents. But before that, Sofia prefers to meet her boyfriend, Hakim, first. After meeting Hakim, Sofia immediately approached her parents to greet them both before her father left home with her mother. Before Santo left, Sofia had reminded him about the promise he had made earlier, where Santo promised to accompany her to play in the forest if she managed to win the match. As a good father, Santo said that he would keep the promise and allow Sofia to drive an off-road car in the forest. In the afternoon, Sofia and Santo set off for the forest on the city's outskirts to begin the thrilling and fun activities that she loves so much. Sofia cheerfully drives her father's off-road car and begins to drive through various tough terrain before finally resting at a lake with a beautiful view. After chatting for a while, Sofia invites Santo to take a picture together, but he refuses by saying he is not interested in such things. While Santo is repairing the car mirror damaged by Sofia's previous actions, Sofia secretly photographed Santo's face and posted the picture on her social media story. The picture had been tracked by the facial recognition system of a cyber team belonging to the most dangerous mafia who had been hunting Santo for years. It turned out that Santo refused to take a picture because he did not want his existence to be known by the mafia, who had once been his enemies. But before we continue, we want to thank Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video. There are 7.5 billion humans in the world that could be playing Raid Shadow Legends right now. So why waste time? You might as well start right now. This holiday season, Raid has a special treat for new players, the 12 Days of Raid event. From December 19th to January 10th, visit 12daysofraid.plarium.com, enter your player ID, and embark on a festive journey filled with mini-games and the chance to win in-game and real-life prizes, including holiday-themed champions and Amazon gift cards worth up to $1,000. Existing players, head to the same website to find a holiday promo code for a special gift. But that's not all. Raid has just released a legendary champion based on MMA and pro wrestling legend Ronda Rousey, and she's available for free to all players. Simply log in and play Raid for 7 days between now and February 20th to claim her. Use promo code RAIDRONDA in-game to receive helpful bonuses like a 3-day 100% XP boost, 500 Kelvin silver, and 5 full energy refills to help level up Ronda. New players, don't miss out on unique bonuses worth $35 by clicking the link in the description or scanning the QR code on the screen. These bonuses are available for 30 days only. Join the Raid community now by clicking the link in the description. We'll see you in the game. The mafia boss named Don Angelo Lo Bianco then ordered his men to find Santo and kill his entire family immediately. The next day, while Santo was working on cutting logs with his brother-in-law, their sawing machine suddenly broke down and did not work. Santo's brother-in-law, Vituzo, suggested Santo go home with his daughter and continue the work in the morning since it was already dark. But Santo refused and asked Vituzo to pick up Sofia at school while he fixed the saw first. After Vituzo had picked Sofia up from school and taken her home, he invited by Emma to have dinner at their house while waiting for Santo to return. But shortly after that, 2 of Angelo's men came to the place and intended to kill them all. After 2 of Angelo's men beat Vituzo and Emma to death, they think they have killed Santo because Vituzo and Santo faces are similar. Seeing the noise from downstairs, Sofia tried to check what was happening. But when she saw the 2 men, Sofia immediately ran upstairs and left the house. Because one of Angelo's men had seen Sofia, the 2 men immediately ran after her, but they lost track after she ran towards the forest. Because it was getting dark, Angelo's 2 men decided to leave because their main target, Santo, had been successfully killed. That night when Santo arrived home, he was shocked to see his wife and his brother-in-law lying on the floor. At the same time, Sofia had also returned to the house, and Santo immediately invited her to leave the place because it was no longer safe for them. Along the way, Sofia asks why they left their mother in that place, but Santo says that Emma cannot be saved anymore, as well as Vituzo. Sofia, panicked by the incident, asks what exactly has happened and who the people are chasing them, but Santo cannot explain many things until they find a safe hiding place. Santo then took Sofia to an empty warehouse, where he had stored all his weapons, communication tools, and his original identity papers. After preparing himself and all the equipment needed, Santo sat next to Sofia and explained that he had once worked as an accomplice of a ruthless mafia boss. One day, Santo intended to retire from the job and wanted to live a normal life with his wife, but the eldest son of the mafia boss forbade him to leave and threatened to kill his wife. At first, Santo thought the threat was just a bluff, but when he found out that the eldest son was going to kill his wife, Santo was forced to kill the young man to protect his wife. On the other hand, Angelo looks at the footage of the Santo family massacre and discovers that the person they killed is not the real Santo. Angelo also asked his right hand to find the locations of the real Santo and immediately kill him before he came for revenge. The next day, Santo gave a cell phone to Sofia and asked her not to use the cell phone to contact anyone other than him. Santo asks Sofia to wait in that place until he returns, while he will go somewhere to gather additional information about the criminals who are chasing them. Santo met an illegal weapon dealer who often supplied weapons to Angelo. He immediately interrogated the man to find out who the two killers sent by Angelo were to kill his family. The man also revealed that the two men were hitmen named Rudy and Marino, who have now become Angelo's right-hand men for the past few years. After getting two names from the perpetrators of his family's murder, Santo immediately killed the illegal weapon dealer and returned to his hiding base. At the same time, Sofia, who still doesn't know anything, contacts Hakim using the cell phone given by her father, making Angelo's cyber team detect Sofia's locations. Meanwhile, Hakim, who heard that Sofia was in danger, immediately rushed to the location to pick her up and save her. After Hakim arrived at Sofia's location, Hakim immediately took her away from the place, but on the way, Marino arrived and immediately opened fire on them. Marino continued to chase them while shooting at Hakim, causing the motorcycle driven by Hakim to lose control and hit a tree. At the same time, Santo had also returned to the hiding base and found that his daughter had left, so he immediately rushed to find Sofia's location. On the other hand, Marino, who had killed Hakim, decided to take Sofia as a hostage to lure Santo to Angelo's place. After Marino put Sofia in the car's trunk, he immediately rushed away from that place. Still, it turned out that Santo had also managed to find Marino's locations, and he immediately beat him to death. Meanwhile, at Angelo's place, Angelo is talking to his youngest son, Michel, who has become a successful businessman. Angelo asks Michel for help to find Santo's location and take revenge on him to avenge the death of Michel's older brother a few years ago. But Michel refused and said they should forget about the past incident because it would only lead to an endless circle of revenge. Michel's words made Angelo feel very angry and disappointed. Still, Michel explained that he did not want to be involved in any crime because he was setting up a private company and did not want his reputation to be damaged by his father's revenge. In the evening, after traveling quite far, Santo and Sofia finally rested in an empty house for one night while preparing their plans for tomorrow. But when Santo arrived at the house, he suddenly felt an excruciating pain in the stomach and fell unconscious. Seeing her father dying, Sofia immediately rushed off to find the nearest clinic around the area so that her father could immediately get medical help. After Sofia found an abortion clinic, she immediately asked the doctor at the clinic to help her father, but the doctor refused because the clinic was already closed. After Sofia showed the doctor a lot of money, she was finally willing to help her so Santo could immediately get medical treatment. When Santo was still unconscious on the operation table, he recalled the memories of the past when his wife was giving birth to Sofia, and it was one of the most beautiful memories he ever had. At the same time, Sofia, besides Santo, also found a note in her father's pants pocket said that he was very grateful to have his wife and Sofia in his life. On the other hand, Angelo is meeting with Rudy and his right-hand man, an expert in the field of hacking named Ferrario, to discuss the plan to find Santo. Angelo assigns Ferrario to track Santo's locations through CCTV camera footage throughout the city because Angelo believes that Santo is still in the city. Santo regained consciousness after the operation, and his condition gradually improved. Santo apologizes to Sofia because she had to be involved and is now in danger due to his past. Santo then asks Sofia to prepare their car while he prepares other equipment so they can immediately escape from that place. But before Sofia and Santo could leave the place, Ferrario had first tracked their locations and sent Rudy and his men to the place. Rudy, who had managed to find Santo, immediately attacked him from behind, but Santo fought back and pushed Rudy until he fell down the stairs. When Santo was about to escape the place, the sound of bullets fired from outside was suddenly heard, and it turned out that Rudy's men had managed to block Sofia. Fortunately, while Rudy's men were trying to inform him that he had caught Sofia, Santo first killed the man with a headshot. Santo and Sofia immediately rushed to leave the place. They drove as far as possible from Rudy's pursuit until they finally rested in an empty warehouse on the city's outskirts. In that place, Santo teaches Sofia how to fight with a knife and tells her which part of the body to stab so that the attack can be more effective. An attack on the side of the abdomen will leave the opponent seriously injured, but the opponent can still survive and counterattack her. Santo suggests that Sofia attack the enemy in the chest and neck because the enemy will die instantly in a matter of a few seconds. While Sofia continues to train to improve her fighting skills, Santo begins assembling an explosive bomb that can be activated using a cell phone. At night before they rest, Santo tells Sofia that the next day they will both kidnap Angelo's youngest child, Michelle. The next morning, Sofia and Santo arrived at Michelle's private bank, and they were already set up in their positions to begin their plan to kidnap Michelle. Sofia is tasked with distracting attention by creating a large explosion in front of the company office. At the same time, Santo will try to take hostage the police officers guarding the place so that he can infiltrate Michelle's room. After Santo managed to get into Michelle's room, he immediately pointed a gun at Michelle and took him away as a hostage. All the employees on the floor could not do much because if they made a mistake, then the head of their company would die. After Santo took Michelle to the basement parking lot, Sofia was already there with a car, and they immediately rushed to leave the place. Although their plan almost failed when some security guards came and chased them, Santo managed to defeat them. Santo and Sofia took Michelle to an empty warehouse and then sent a picture of Michelle to Rudy using Michelle's cell phone so that Angelo could find out that his son had been kidnapped. After that, Santo went to the train wreckage site to lure Angelo's men to the place and beat them all while Sofia waited until he returned. In the evening, Rudy shows a picture of Michelle to Angelo and tells him that Santo has managed to kidnap Michelle. Rudy also tells Angelo that Santo has asked him to reveal his crimes over the past 30 years to the media if he wants Michelle to survive. Angelo immediately ordered Ferrario to track Michelle's cell phone signal so that they could find out his location and catch Santo as soon as possible. After finding out that Santo was at the location of the train wreck dump, Angelo asked Rudy and his men to immediately find Santo and make sure that he was really dead this time. After Rudy and his men arrived at the location, they found a car suspected to be Santo's car, so they tried to surround it. But when they approached the car, one by one, Rudy's men were killed by deadly shots fired by Santo from his hiding location. After Santo managed to kill most of Rudy's men, he then detonated the explosive bomb that he had installed under the car so that the explosion also killed other of Rudy's men. Seeing that all his men were dead, Rudy began to search the wrecked train in that place to find Santo's location. But Santo had first attacked Rudy from behind until he fell. Before Santo fired a bullet toward Rudy's head, he said that Angelo would not care about Michelle's life and would continue hunting Santo until he died in front of him. On the other hand, Michelle tries to incite Sofia to release him from that place and tells her that Santo used to be a ruthless hitman. But Sofia was not swayed by Michelle's words, and she has also learned that her father never wanted the job in the first place. In the middle of the conversation, Sofia gets a phone call from Santo, who wants to say goodbye to her because soon he will go to Angelo's place to kill him directly. Hearing this, Sofia begged her father not to go to Angelo's place because she didn't want to lose him. But Santo insists on going to Angelo's place and killing Angelo directly to protect Sofia and the others. A local police cyber team has successfully tracked the conversation between Sofia and Santo, so they have managed to find the locations of Sofia and Santo. On the other hand, Santo, who had arrived at Angelo's hideout, had infiltrated inside and began killing all of Angelo's men who were guarding the place. After all of Angelo's men were killed, Santo immediately rushed into Angelo's room and met him, who was already resigned to his life. Angelo then apologized to Santo, begged him for his life, and promised he would never bother Santo's family again. But Santo already knew Angelo very well and knew that a cunning person like him would never keep his promise to anyone, so Santo immediately shot him dead. Unfortunately, when Santo was about to leave the place, the police special forces surrounded the place, and Santo, who felt that this was a form of penance for his past mistakes, decided to give up his life to the police. After Santo was killed, the police rescued Michelle and took Sofia to the police station for further interrogation. After Sofia stayed at the children's shelter for several days, she was finally declared free by the police because she was considered not involved in the murder plan carried out by Santo. The next day, Michelle went to see Sofia and gave her a box of chocolates as a gift, but she refused and said that she never liked chocolate. After Michelle returned to his car, he asked Ferrario to kill Sofia in the same way that Santo killed his father so that he could avenge his father's death. The next day, when Ferrario wants to carry out the murder plan, he calls Michelle and tells him that Sofia has left the children's shelter. Apparently, Sofia had gone to Michelle's place first and intended to kill him because she wanted to take revenge for her father's death. The moral message that we can learn from this movie is that when we are determined to take revenge, it means we are digging two graves, and one of those graves is our own.